Lots to get into with CTV Regina's Hanna, who also moonlights with the CFL on TSN as a sideline reporter. How are you doing, Claire?
I'm awesome. And I heard your poll question, and I'm going to throw out something completely different, Rod. I want to own a beach volleyball league. I want to start a league.
That would be fun.
That would be really cool.
Yeah. Anything's on the table. Obviously, for the four options we had, I'd love to go far, deeper than that. But why? Tell me why.
Program, hey? You can't add another. But no, I just think like every time the Olympics comes around, everybody is so into volleyball, both court and beach. But I just think there's this massive thirst for beach volleyball. There's the AVP tour in the States. But besides that, and then the FIVB, which is just all over the world, I think there could be a legit tour. Let's start one in beach, like Kits Beach in Vancouver, have it go to a couple nice beaches in Canada. And I know they exist. And yeah, I'll start the league.
By the way, you severely ruined yourself playing beach volleyball, or at least getting ready for beach volleyball. Let's tell that story.
You got to remind me? What? Yes, I did. I tore my ACL, but I also did some stuff to my meniscus, and I'm 5 months into the recovery, and I still can't run, but I've been biking like mad. I've got some pretty sweet scars on my knee, and I think it's going to be better than it was before, though. But it's going to be like a year till we get there, Rod. And then maybe you and Dupes want to hit the courts. I'll find a friend and we'll take you to town.
Well, again, I'm surprised you didn't pick a curling team, by the way, and we'll get into that. But where are you? What's your thoughts? I've seen your coverage and stuff. Your interview with Hobson was great on the CFL in 2020. When this is over, what comes out? And what's your take on things?
Well, I've actually been trying to really crunch some of the numbers, and I'm mostly looking at the Riders situation, given that I'm a local reporter here, and looking at their financial statements from previous years. And we're waiting for this year's financial statements to come out. And I think that's going to give us an even better indication on how much the Riders had to spend for the Grey Cup. I know the city and the province have put in a lot of money, but where do the Riders stand financially on that one? And then bigger picture, when you've got this request for federal assistance from the Canadian government, like really how realistic is it that the Canadian government's going to provide money? And I know this is a polarized topic. Lots of people think, no, the CFL should just be treated like the employees, the owners or whoever should be treated like every other Canadian citizen that's been laid off. But then others think, well, no, they're in a different position. They've signed these contracts, said they wouldn't search for work, and now they're committed. And then there's the American question. Do the American players get money? Which I've been seeing a lot of tweets, and I've got to agree that Americans are almost like quasi-Canadians. They spend so much time up in Canada. They pay tax dollars. They are in the communities. And I think if you don't include them, then you're not really being fair to the CFL as a whole. But I realistically just don't think there's going to be a season. And I'm so optimistic about this kind of stuff, but I just don't think you're going to get to a position where you can see crowds of we know what Mosaic Stadium looks like on Rider game day. You're not going to get there in September. I just think there's so much hesitation already. And then there's the question of opening the borders. It's such a can of worms.
Yeah. And those stadiums, not just CFL stadiums, arena stadiums all over the world, they're germ factories. Let's be honest. We've all been there. They are. Now, I was on a radio station in Hamilton last night. They said, what is the view in Western Canada of federal aid to the CFL? And I said, to be honest with you, not as positive as you'd think, even though they love the CFL out here. A lot of people are against it. Now, you're a BC girl originally, are you not?
Oh my gosh, I'm from everywhere. I've lived in every province.
But what do you consider your hometown?
I would say Calgary.
Okay, so just from your friends and family out there, west of where we're at right now, what's their take on the CFL receiving federal aid?
Most of my friends I've even had DMs privately. They don't think the CFL should get financial aid. They just think that it's a business model that should improve, that shouldn't have to be sustained by federal assistance, that they should have developed their own ways of having more income. And I don't know if I agree with that, but I just think they bring up a point where when the country is in such a big issue financially, we're trying to get PPE, we're trying to get more healthcare, that money needs to be siphoned into those areas to try to really fight COVID and to help small businesses, and that this huge multinational business, they think that this business needs to find a better way to get income.
I know. Well, it's going to be up to the CFL to just make their case, because I already know of a lot of businesses and companies that have gone under in the last 2 months. I mean, where's their support? I totally get it, and I support it as a CFL guy. And frankly, as a sideline reporter, you must be pro CFL in this, I would think.
Yeah, and I try to look at it from a neutral standpoint as a journalist. And like, I miss sports so much. And also in my job right now, I'm still kind of covering sports. I'm covering all these stories. I'm talking to the CFLPA. I'm talking to, whenever we get a soundbite from Randy Ambrosi, or whenever we get to talk to Jeremy O'Day or Craig Reynolds. But they're all really sad stories, because it's usually, okay, it's getting postponed a little further. Okay, is this going to happen? Oh no, how are we going to pay off Mosaic Stadium if you're not getting that ticket surplus being paid towards the city to pay off the province? Like, it's just sad stories around sports. And so it's really draining, but I miss sports. I want them to come back. I don't know if I'm pro CFL. I'm just looking at all the factors, and I'm trying to just ingest all of it and figure out where we're going to go from here.
Well, frankly, you don't need to make a decision today, because it looks like we're a long ways from it coming back anyways. That's what I said about the baseball. I don't know if I'm on the owner's side or the player's side, but it doesn't matter today, because this isn't going to be sorted out anytime soon. And by the way, it's not a secret. We had Catlin Schneider here in the bunker yesterday. He brought us Tim Hortons Brier jersey, and I got a little sense of some sizzle between Saskatchewan's men's superpowers, curling. I mean, this has to come back, Claire. This is the sexiest story in Western Canada.
I know it's a very, very polarized story for Saskatchewan curling, and it's so exciting for the province, because I think over the past 2 years, you've had two pretty good teams battling it out. It was the old Team Myers and Team Dunstone, and now you've reshuffled these teams, and I think it's going to be super exciting. And I can just hear that Kirk's come in the door. And through all of this, on a neutral standpoint, like, you got to feel for Catlin Schneider. He got ousted, and I think it's so spicy how much he's going to bring to the game, because if I was in his position, I would want to bring it to Dunstone, and no doubt he will.
Yes. Well, just speak like Kirk's not there. Okay.
Impossible.
Impossible, I know. But we kind of went into this with Catlin, and we talked about curling in 2020 and with the social distancing thing. We talked a lot about raising money and sponsorships. Like, we really got to get these guys back on the ice, because, man, is that going to be exciting?
Yeah, and I'm just going to go to CanWest U Sports Conference. They actually announced sort of their plan going forward next year, and there's going to be a lot of divisions. Besides football and hockey, most teams, so soccer, basketball, volleyball, are going to be really mostly competing within, for example, the Husky and Cougars case, within Saskatchewan and just Manitoba. So those are like bus leagues. They don't want to have them flying to save on financial costs, but they also just want to keep it tight. And I think that is something we might see in curling. Maybe we have, the Sask Curling Tour becomes a big thing again. And, or I've heard rumors that maybe things like the Grand Slams just involve Canadian teams. And so you wonder if it's just going to be a lot more condensed. But even for Team Dunstone, they can't just compete in Saskatchewan, because Matt Dunstone lives in Kelowna. So how do you bring him in? But I'm into this localized sport flair to start things up. I think it's just going to really make things juicier in Saskatchewan and in provincially.
That is absolutely awesome. We need to talk more, because I'm hearing same things, but from other leagues. So if we put our info together, we would dominate the world. All right, Claire, thank you. Say hey to Kirk, and keep up the great work, please.
Okay, thanks for having me on.
You betcha. Good job. Stay safe. Claire Hanna from the CFL on TSN and CTV Regina. Very popular.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. The viewers,
I know.
when she comes on.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.